Okay, so we need 7 pounds water. Now we're doing 30%, so it's going to be 3 pounds, but double the amount, so 6 pounds plaster. And we need 70% sand, which is 7 pounds times 2 for a double batch. So that's 14. Alright, it's been about 3-4 minutes. I don't want to wait too long, just in case, but no matter what, we're not going to stop mixing until it's a nice thick slurry like I stated. But for some reason I'm feeling really good about this. I think all this sand, especially it being a lot lighter, is really going to thicken this up. So let's go ahead and mix them together. Okay, just to show you guys a little here, like it still seems a little watery. It definitely seems thicker than last time, but I'm still going to keep mixing until it's a little bit thicker. Okay, so I've been stirring for a few minutes now and it's definitely thickening up. I mean, you can see the difference here. It's more like a milkshake. Oh yeah, this is definitely thicker. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. I can't believe how much thicker it's already getting. Holy cow. Oh yeah. Oh god. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Mix a little bit of water. Man, this is thickening really fast. Oh god. This is not good. It's like, how is it too thick now? This is ridiculous. Alright, so I guess for this next one, we're just going to mix it together and just pour it. We're not going to wait because that was like way too fast. Okay, I'm going to need a new bucket. So, this should be a lot better. It's not a thick slurry like they said, but I think this is good. Plus it gives me time to kind of bounce them around. Okay. No! Fuck. Okay, hopefully my phone's alright, but one thing I wanted to try doing was also pouring some of the remaining plaster into my silicone mold so I don't waste it. God, what a mess. Alright, well that wasn't very expected. It's weird because I literally just made a comment about how I thought it still looked a little bit soupy right when I was about to pour. And literally between like those 5 seconds of me saying that and bringing it over and starting to pour, it was already like 5 times thicker. It was like actually insane how fast it started setting. I'm not sure why. It didn't state anything like that in the paper. It sounded like they waited like quite a bit of time in between each step to make sure it kind of thickened up a little bit. But it's like as soon as it starts thickening, it just like exponentially goes up. It's like it gets faster and faster and faster, and the longer you take, the thicker it gets. And the last mold that I did, it was so thick, I was actually having to like compress the plaster down into the mold. So I'm not really sure how good these first 4 molds are going to turn out. The other 4 molds poured perfectly, and that was with me mixing everything together just without even waiting. Now, I'm not sure why. I think the finer sand definitely helped. I noticed big time that like by the time I was done pouring the bucket, there was like no sand at the bottom. It was just the mixture. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see any of the materials that go into making the mixture separated out. And I didn't see that. So definitely a benefit from filtering the sand down to a finer level. You're kind of pressed for time, as you can see. That's why I didn't really think waiting was such a good idea, but I did it because that's what they stated in the paper to do, and I wanted to try it out. But they must not have waited as long as I thought they did. They probably literally just mixed it, like let it sit for a second just to like allow everything to mix together. It was probably only like 10 seconds. And then they just immediately put the sand in. But by the time you're weighing out the sand and you mix it together, you're kind of giving it that time anyways. And also I dropped my phone in the bucket. It fell out of my coat pocket, landed in the bucket, so I had to rinse it in the water, hoping that it would wash away the slurry, but not get water inside the components and stuff. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. So far it's still working. It's playing my music, but I don't know. I'm not really going to try to mess with it until I know it's dry. Might put it in a bag of rice or something. So for the paper, we have to wait about 6 hours for these molds to harden. I mean, those first 4 are already hard. They're like bricks already. And I got to shave them all down. I got to make them nice and flat too for the vacuum chamber or the vacuum table. The one I kind of overfilled when I went back and topped it off. I shouldn't have done that because I need that little bit at the top so I can get a good suction on it. So 6 hours, then we can put these in the kiln, and then we got to run them for about 5 hours at double low, and then we're going to run them for almost 10 hours at double medium, and then we got to cool them down. I'll see you guys tonight around 12:30 because right now it's like 6:30, almost 7. Okay, so we got about 2 hours left before I got to start putting these in the kiln. So I'm kind of glad that the 4 that didn't have, you know, the right consistency for the plaster were the wax ones, because I want to try doing the steaming out process, which I have a pan of water right here with this steel perforated disc that my father uses for his I think it's for the plow on his 4-wheeler. So we're going to set those 4 wax molds on top of that, and we're going to heat up the water. I have this tote here we're going to put over it to keep the steam inside, and the steam is supposed to melt the wax and also help carry it out of the mold, which is essentially how it works inside the kiln. But this will allow us to collect the wax and reuse it, and we can do it in there as well, but I don't really have any nice steel containers to collect the wax in, and then you also have to remove all the molds, and it's kind of a pain. But I'm going to try this out, and then maybe next time we'll try just doing it inside the kiln.
Let's see how these turned out. Oh. Huh. Man, that popped right off there. I've got to position this so it collects the wax. I wish I had a better system here. I'm going to try to look around and see if I can find a better perforated thing it can sit on to allow the wax to go through. Yeah, it smells really nice. Yeah, look at that. You can see a hole right there. That's from the thick part of the thick plaster not working itself all the way down. It's not really good, but hopefully it's just right there. This one's probably worse. Yeah. Man. Hopefully it's just at the very bottom. This one should be a little bit more packed. Oh god, this one's not packed at all. Yeah, we can't use this one. I'm gonna have to try to mix together a little bit more plaster and try to... Look how bad this one is. Might have to try to mix them up real quick in a smaller bucket. Yeah, this one's gonna need fixed too, I think. Okay, I mixed up a little mini batch. Let's very, very carefully pour this in. If I can. Ooh. Okay, well, again, I poured a little bit more than I think I needed, so let's try to pour some more silicone molds. Let's take out a smaller one first, I think. Man, definitely got to be careful. Might be too early. And it turned out good, but one of the ears slightly broke. I think I got to wait for these to harden more before I take them out. Let's go ahead and pour another one. And I'll just go grab some more and fill in the rest real quick, and we'll look at them tomorrow. Okay, let's see how this is turning out. Hopefully all this water isn't damaging it. Oh yeah, it looks nice and hollow. This one's not done yet. Yeah, look at that. I think this is one of the dogs. Definitely kept all that detail, and it's still nice and tough. I mean, it's a little soft. It's because my glove's so hard. But hopefully these molds turn out good. Okay. All that's left to do now is just to put the molds in here. Okay, so we have both knobs at low, and we're going to run that for about 5 hours, and we'll be back out in the morning. Okay, well, it's not 5:30 in the morning, but I was too tired to record, and I decided just to go back to bed. So it is now like 1:30, and we've been having this heat up on the double medium for a while, so let's just go ahead and check the temperature. We're only like 2 hours away from starting to cool this down, so it should be almost done. It's looking pretty toasty. 1300, 1300, 1250, almost 13. The bottom and the sides around 14. So overall, looking really good, especially the ones where I had the thicker plaster. The thinner ones looks like it's kind of separating from the outside. I guess they all are, but I think they all look pretty great, except for that one right there at the very corner. You can see it's really separated from the outside. So that's going to be the last one I think we're going to pour. And I'm also going to have to try to bury that in the sand to make sure that it doesn't blow out. And also, I have to be very careful taking that out because it's probably just going to slide right out of the steel backer. So I definitely got to do that one last, and maybe even let it cool down a little bit more than I usually would, just to kind of keep it in the flask a little bit better, but we're gonna have to be really careful with that one. Be nice to be able to figure out how to put handles on these. Here's all of the plaster casts out of the molds, and most of them turned out almost flawless. They turned out really, really good. The only couple issues is that they are extremely sensitive. So you can see like this one, the head broke off. I think the moisture is what's causing it to be soft. I just got to figure out how to dry these out, but overall they look really good. Little astronaut. Alright, well, we're completely out of tin, so I got to melt down some more pewter. So I got a little pewter cup in there, and pewter is mostly tin. So I'm just going to quickly heat that up, drop it in the water, and make some shot so we can weigh it out. Oh yeah, nice. Now we got some fresh, clean tin. Perfect. Alright, we are currently in the cooling phase for our molds, which I have set to off and low, so the lowest possible setting for the kiln. You can see it's still pretty hot in here. It's probably ended around like 1350, almost 1400 degrees for the molds, so that's really good. But we got everything set up, ready to go. Got my propane tanks all filled up. Gotta hook that up still. But got our crucible. I got these little packages here, which each one inside this aluminum foil contains the appropriate amount of aluminum, zinc, and tin for our Nordic Gold alloy. So 2, because we have to melt down 2 separate batches. And then while I wait for the molds to cool down, I have over here by my shed, I got all the copper weighed out, but you can see it's in pretty big forms. So I'm gonna have to crush these down so that I can fit more inside the crucible, especially like some of those bigger pieces, because they won't even fit inside without making a mess. So I'm gonna be doing that while we wait for this stuff to get done. But everything's pretty much ready to go. I got everything staged. I also, oh, another thing, I also drilled the hole bigger. I forgot I had step bits, and so I grabbed those out of my toolbox and I drilled a bigger hole. So hopefully this will help us out a lot, having that bigger hole there so it can allow more air to escape out of the mold faster. And we also have our Nordic Gold scrap bucket, so we can put some of this inside, mix some of that together to bring up the volume. It's like 1100, so it's gone down about 200 degrees. Well, I think we're ready to start casting. I checked the temperature again on the inside of the kiln, and the molds look like they're around 950 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, well, we got our full crucible here of copper. I'm going to start by melting down all the copper, and then I'm going to stick that aluminum foil bundle inside after this is all molten. I should have cleaned this out first. Okay. nice and even. Copper gives off a really beautiful green glow, which you'll see here as it starts to heat up. Oh, that's not good. Well, the one blew through to the other side, but hopefully it's salvageable. It didn't blow through the bottom, which that's really good. It just blew through the side, so hopefully it's just like a little piece that I gotta break off and cut, but hopefully it didn't mess it all up. Alright, well it's the next day and we got all of our castings out, and I have to say these are definitely some of the best castings I've made. Some of them are the best castings I've made. We did have one unfortunate incident where this guy right here blew through, but I'll go through each one and show you guys how they turned out so far. They're not cleaned up or anything, they still are attached to all their sprues, so we still have a lot of work to do. Especially on some of those wax ones where the plaster was a little bit too thick and I wasn't able to get it in certain areas and it kind of like blew through. So we'll start off with the cat first. So the cat is definitely one of the best ones that I've had so far. So much really good detail, everything turned out really good. The sleeves, like all the vents, the tail, the ears. I also keep forgetting about like these hollowed out parts with the heads to drill a little hole in the top to make sure I vent out that air, because you can see it filled in on the inside. I think you can tell. But not a big deal. This is one of the wax ones. Again, another one of my best casts yet. Just got a little bit of work to do. A couple small air bubbles and a couple little spots where it like blew out. Like in the neck there, you can kind of tell. A couple air bubbles in the ears. But the surface texture is what I'm mostly concerned about, and it looks phenomenal. This was in the same mold, Highland Cow. One of the best ones I've had so far. This one actually might be the best. It's got just such good detail. I think the only thing I have to do on it is right there on that horn. You can see there's like a small little area where it blew out. But everything else is literally like perfect on this thing. I mean, the texture on this thing just, it's like perfect. I don't think there's like a bad spot on this. I mean, there is like a air bubble right there you could see. There's probably a couple other like smaller things, like maybe another air bubble here, or there's a little bit of flashing right there, but like the texture is just insane. Now the platform he's sitting on, that looks phenomenal too. And I usually struggle with platforms. They're usually really difficult to have turn out good. But this one turned out awesome. And I think it's all because of my sprue system here. Because I also have the platform right here where it turned out. And the platform also looks awesome. It's like a little air bubble right there. A little air bubble there. There's a lot of flashing on this one though. But it looks like it should be pretty easy to remove all of it. But like even the lip on the inside, like I think you can see, just look at the lip on the inside where the Reaper is going to be sitting on. The only thing that didn't turn out the best is the inside, and it's still really good, but you could tell there's a little bit of either shrinkage in some spots or misrun or cold shuts, and it's going to be covered with the Reaper anyway, so you're not even going to be able to see it. Now the wax one, the next wax ones, this was with the one that blew out, which I'll show in a second. It turned out great actually, but it did suffer a little bit from the mold quality for sure. So you can see right there, I got to take all that bit off, and mostly under the neck right there. So I think I can save this. I just have to be extremely careful. Metal chasing all of this. It looks like those are the only two real spots that I have to do anything to. Everything else looks pretty good. But the other one, on the other hand, did not I can't save this. It just like sucked in all of the metal from like the face and the side of the ear right there, and I just feel like this would be way too much work to save. It might be possible. I mean, I'm sure it is possible, but is it worth it is the question. This clown is also very, very awesome. The ears is what really shocked me when I looked at them, and this is a very, very good representation of what vacuum casting can do. So it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but there's like the edge of his ear is like extremely thin, and also you can see the small vent I put between the ear and his face. Look how thin that is. Here's my finger for scale. That tiny little piece cast solid, and so did the other side. Small little air bubble in the ear there, but the ears themselves are incredibly thin, and also like all the ridges on the face, even the little crow's feet for the eyes, all of the details in the teeth and the ribbon around the neck, like everything captured on this piece. It's actually amazing. So here's a cute little fox. Turned out pretty good. Not as good of surface quality as the plastic ones, the PLA ones, but again, I don't blame the wax at all. I've had those other two wax ones turn out really good. I think it's because of just the thick plaster and the way I stuffed it inside to try to save it, and it kind of worked. I can definitely save the fox. Just a couple spots on him that need fixed. He's pretty good. And then I have the astronaut. Again, surface quality isn't to par, and there's a big spot right there on the neck that I gotta cut out and fix. And then this was the last one that I poured, the one that I was worried about the most, and good reason to as well. But I think actually I can save this one. So this is the one with the couple holding each other and the baby angel. It blew through in between the two. It's not that thick though, so I think if I just cut it with a Dremel or my angle grinder and separate them, I think I might be able to salvage these. Now they're both going to take a decent amount of work to get to a really good quality and surface texture, but I mean, like, look, the detail on them is really good. The surface texture is really good. The color is really good. I'll keep you guys updated. So I'm gonna get all the sprues and stuff cut off these and get a little bit of cleaning done. And then it's gonna be a lot of Dremel work.